Clocking Time. A time travel short story by Mark McClure. Monday, 10:55 a.m. The 22nd of December. Year 30. My window's half open, but I make sure the door is locked. Dadbot's working at home today and I don't want him disturbing this jump. I check my tablet set to record whatever happens next. Lying here on my bed in our dull little house in dreary old Albion, I close my eyes and place my thumb on a slight indentation about a centimeter above my left ear. This is my signal for the induction sequence to start. Once the timepiece's grainy image appears, I focus on breathing in phase with its moving pendulum until, on the stroke of 11, I'm immersed in sensory data that make no sense, and looking out through eyes not my own. "You in my world now," says Nina, her voice growing stronger as our thought streams entwine like two threads on a spool. I'm so excited I blurt out the first words that come to mind.
"You never heard of Albion?"
"Sorry. I don't." Her voice trails off. Sometimes I forget she taught herself textbook Albionish. I rephrase my question as a statement. Albion is where I live. It's an island next to France. You know, Europe. She doesn't answer. "Nina? Go men. I mean, sorry. I show you map." Jumps are so frustrating. I understand every word in Albionish she's thinking, but what she sees remains a fuzzy mesh of dark blotches and moving squiggles. Her auditory cortex is now ablaze with messages. Another female voice speaks Japanese so fast I catch only a few words. Nina replies. Laughter erupts. "Who was that?" "My mother." She wonders why I speak English again. "It's Albionish." "No, it's English. I study it." "Okay, you win." "It's Zinglish." "It's English." "Whatever." I chuckle at our odd cultural confusions. A rustle of paper grabs my attention, followed by a shape, blurry at first, but sharpening enough to glimpse patches of gunmetal gray and splurges of aqua blue. She's holding a map. Neither Nina nor I know how to switch sensory input on or off for the person jumping. It happens at random as it did with her map right now. The third time she jumped I was taking a shower, and only a misted mirror spared our blushes. She stands up and I get giddy for a moment. Bewilderment and shock from this perch inside her headspace are ever present. And when she moves, my balance is off, like I'm that toddler hanging onto a merry-go-round the older boys are turning much too fast. Nina walks around a spherical translucent projection of a globe taller than she is. I want to ask why Tokyo's missing, but I'm riveted by her finger tracing a line across the endless ocean where Eurasia should be. She pauses on a blob of an island beyond what, I guess, is the western rump of France and the Iberian Peninsula. This looks nothing like any training maps Dr. Bleak ever showed me of what lies behind the Great Eastern Firewall. "Here we are," she says. "England. The 14th state of North Atlantic Union. Population, 15 million. Language spoken, English. Well, this is no world I know," I say, hoping I'll remember to have a map of Albion available for when she jumps. The problem with good intentions like this one is our separate visits often resemble half-remembered dreams, and I'm sure many of those are forgotten. Dr. Bleak had no patience for dreamers, lucid or otherwise, and kids who reported too many found themselves kicked off the program. I never told him how mine had morphed into these real-time jumps 3 months ago. "Briann? Are you still here?" My reverie's broken by Nina's dulcet tones. "That happens too. I mean, being lost in the jump. It's a form of suspended animation we haven't figured out how to interrupt before this psychological window closes. Our shared link unravels, and the experience ends all too soon." We're in her studio now. The sliding windows are open, and I hear the cries of crickets in the darkness. The visuals are crystal clear, way better than any virtual sim experience I've tried in Albion. "Yeah, sorry about that," I say. Everything just froze again. "You get crickets in December?" She stops painting and reaches to pick up a sheet of paper from the nut-brown wooden floor. Among columns of kanji ideograms, I spy my name, and the words Albion and December. "You asked about crickets last time too. We Japanese call them semi." There's a terseness to her words, a frustration I also show when the roles are reversed, and she's in my head. Oh, I forgot. My bad. I watch her pencil lead write, my bad, and December on the paper. And December is not here. That's another polite telling off for me. And yet she shows a sense of time passing. But is it hers or mine? I change the topic. What are you working on now? She moves closer to an easel, on which I make out drawings of ants on the march along a narrow white path. Higher on the canvas, above a row of boxes with square windows and big sloping tiled roofs, I recognize the pole star and what might be Ursa Minor, the Little Bear constellation. Hey! That's my windowsill. Is it bad? No, the ants are perfect, I say. But lose the temple roofs. She writes another note on paper so thin I can see right through it. Her characters become fainter, and I fear our connections weakening with every pencil stroke. Willpower's proving useless to delay or reverse this sensory decay. The end comes when a pitch-black cone from somewhere inside Nina's head expands to envelop me, and I'm tumbling through a rotating tunnel of nothingness. There's no sound. The chilled space and a primal fear cause goosebumps all over my body. How long I fall for I cannot tell, but the spinning slows and stops, leaving me dizzy and breathless. The spot above my left ear throbs with intense pain. I open my eyes to check what I'm lying on is indeed my bed. The room's too damned hot and these clothes cling to me like a second skin. There's two of everything again. How odd is that? I struggle and wiggle and pull off the top layer. The clock on my bedside cabinet shows 1:03 p.m. I'm back. But where did I go? You kids are so gifted. Dr. Bleak's words to the group of kids on our first morning in the program still haunt me. The implant triggers this post-hypnotic suggestion every time a jump ends and I exit its remote viewing imagery. His words grate like a stupid jingle I can't escape hearing. But I'll pay any price if crossing this neurochemical Styx is the only way to reach her. When Bleak's program plucked me from my parents 5 years ago, they were delighted. It was one of the few times I can remember them agreeing on how to rear Briann, the troublesome child. And making me someone else's problem was a dream come true. Their words. Not mine. I didn't much care then. What 12-year-old would? Monday. 3:05 p.m. The 22nd of December. Year 30. I hear him yell, son, 3 times. Why doesn't he use my name for a change? And now he's thumping the staircase banister so hard, loose panels in this bedroom door shudder in response. Enraged by my silence, he bellows even louder. I catch the word visitors. Perhaps our gallant robotic constabulary is here again. They turned up last week after a busybody saw me take a bundle of smoke-damaged manga from the charred remains of our town's only bookshop. We had 5 once, before the arsonists arrived. I hope it is them. Trolling their dumb logic beats another boring day under digital curfew in this land of the bland. I roll off my lumpy mattress and head for the bathroom, yawning so much my jaw aches. I take a long, noisy pee aimed at the crowns of those waiting in the room below. Forgetting to flush on purpose, I bound downstairs 3 at a time. Oh, no robot cops today. 2 people sit at either end of our once snow-white sofa. I note embarrassment in their faces, and it pleases me they've suffered through all 43 seconds of my bathroom tinkling. 1. Dr. Bleak, I know all too well from my last involuntary stay in his sorry excuse for a hospital. He needs a shave. And that crumpled suit's been slept in one too many times. The other, a prim-looking woman sporting pinkish hair and a sullen manner, is a power-dressed stranger. She ignores my greeting. I fake a weak elbow bump with Dr. Bleak, but he does not respond in kind to his black sheep of a patient. An awkward silence ensues until the person playing dad shuffles in from the kitchenette, clutching what might be tea in transparent mugs cracked at the lip. Dr. Bleak takes one sip of this brew the color of sulfur, and worry lines crease his forehead. He sets the mug to one side, fumbles in his attaché case, and pulls out a blood-red plastic file crammed full of typed papers and messy handwritten notes. I plonk myself cross-legged on the living room floor, a miniature guru in waiting. My gaze alights on the pile of papers now spread across the scorch-damaged coffee table I snaffled when the thrift store closed, another victim of last summer's riots. The document on top has my name misspelt on its cover page. It's not Brian. It's Briann with a double N, I say, pointing at the mistake. Oi. Lad. Stop your nonsense this instant. I defer to Papa Plonker's pathetic attempt at exerting his so-called authority in front of our guests, and resist the urge to fire back a flippant reply. The woman glares at me, her tea untouched. Dr. Bleak peers over horn-rimmed glasses, his eyes flitting between mine and my jabbing finger. Well, Brian with an extra N, I'm sure. He lifts the document and adds an extra letter N to my name. Thank you. I nod my appreciation, ignoring for the moment how much of a sarcastic old goat he was whenever my remote viewings return no hits. It's all right, he says. Shall we get started? Get off the dirty floor, son. I ignore this rude interruption, and I do not budge from a floor I've swept each day for months since they sent me home. My focus switches to Dr. Bleak's cheerless colleague, who is attempting to export her thought streams into digital word blurbs. I know that's what she's up to because above her left ear, half hidden by tinted curls, a thumbnail-sized device emits snotty-green pulses of light. Mine is more discreet. This one likes to draw attention to herself with pointless gimmicks. I ought to tell her it's never a clever idea to advertise your public headspace for any Tom, Dick, or Briann to find a way in. And there's a good chance she's using a version of that same first-generation workspace technology they made me test 2 years ago in Bleak's lab. It's a tech so riddled with bugs, the white coats never understood how I got it to work. Right on cue, she stares at me and locks on, pupil to pupil. She'll try to ping me next. Yes, she's feisty for sure. Now the direct object of her attention, I flash a guilty grin in response. I could connect and empty whatever information dumps festering in the eddies and backwaters of her skull, but the less she knows about my skills the better. Perhaps she hopes I will levitate and join her on the sofa. Nothing surprises me anymore about state-sponsored psychiatrists. They remain obsessed with what we kids in Bleak's program could do back then. No doubt she's read my file. I think it's time for a brief distraction. Arms outstretched and head raised heavenward, I offer up my mean Buddha of a party trick. But I am not worthy, blessed Father, and shrink in the presence of greatness. This sets him off until Dr. Bleak's pleadings for everyone to calm down win out. The Gormleskit then performs a token penance by dragging his pride and joy, a rickety homemade dining chair, next to where the two representatives of Mental Health Authority are sitting. He plonks his considerable bulk upon it. The frame creaks and groans its distress. How I pity that poor chair. Arms crossed and lips pursed, his huffing warns me I'll catch flack for this later. The not-so-good doctor summarizes my case history, my adjusted medications, my encouraging prognosis. He tells me I'm more grounded in daily life than 3 months ago. He plans to readmit me to the program and remove the monitoring implant on Founders Day. I bloody well thought so. They are here to return me to their psychic war games bullshit. Those papers are all about signing the rest of my life away. And December 25th is in 3 days. His colleague remains impassive. However, I'm wise to her games now. She hasn't stopped thought-pinging me with that stupid neural net tablet since I entered the room. I play it cool on the surface, but inside me strong currents of rage and disappointment sweep all else before them. That simple-sounding plan means another long spell in one of Bleak's secretive medical research facilities. It's a fate I am determined to avoid at all costs. There'll be no more monkeying around inside my head on national security grounds. I raise my right hand out of habit, the way we did in remote viewing class. In my other is a device I use for keeping backups of my jump recordings. Dr. Bleak pays me no notice. He's trapped by a barrage of questions from my old man about Brian's future career options as a valued state employee. Gone is Pop's grumpy geezer act. His ramrod straight, the earnest model of a concerned citizen. Yeah. A citizen concerned enough to commit his only son for what Bleak assures him is society's greater good. I can just imagine him counting the junta's filthy lucre while I'm confined inside a windowless remote viewing dome. I know what these parasites want. It's in my damn job description. Go here, go there, tell us what is everywhere. Ouch. That hurt. Pink Lady just snatched the recorder from my hand. I may have underestimated the malice in this one. She reads the transcript and then taps Bleak's forearm. He glances at the screen and pauses in mid-sentence. Is that a smile on her lips or the sneak thief's smirk of triumph? I feel two pairs of eyes watching me now. They're suspicious, accusing eyes. Pop looks crestfallen, his mouth hanging open like a lapdog, as if waiting for a treat he never deserved. I have no wish to disappoint my audience and begin to read out loud last week's time jump entry from memory. Monday. 1:15 p.m. The 15th of December. 2059. I know that wooded hill behind her parents' farmhouse. Nina's huffing and puffing her way up a steep, unmarked trail that leads to a cave hidden by overgrown brambles. Carrion crows caw-caw in nearby trees as she pauses for a breather. The visual cortex connection is so clear I'm right there. She turns to point out family members working in the patchwork of paddy fields below, and then swivels around to show me the cave's dark, mossy dampness. I ask if it's haunted. Nina assures me it's not. She holds up a fearsome crossbow she carries in case of meeting any scavenging bears or wolves. She says if our time jumps ever entangle, this is the exact tunnel from which I will emerge. I don't understand how she can be so sure. Yes, we probably share the same chronotype mutation, but our clock chemistry must be way different. She laughs and begins the scramble back to her world, her Satayama. Nina's less than 2 hours before she jumps. There is a stunned silence among the three adults. Bleak scratches the stubble on his chin and gives me his "you've been a naughty boy again" look I recall from my last day on his funny farm. I'd clock jump right now if I only could. Elated doesn't begin to describe how I feel. I've demonstrated that their drugs, designed to derail my jumps at the launching stage, don't work. I jumped last Monday. I did it today. I can do it again tonight. And I'm not taking any more of their year zero bullshit. I don't care if speaking those 4 digits is a criminal offense in the founder's eyes. Let him be for now, says Bleak to Dada. My colleague will review his medication. We'll see you both Thursday. Make sure Brian's packed and ready to go. They make to leave the room, ignoring me, and reserving their goodbyes and smiles for an overjoyed father who is clasping the bundle of contract papers to his chest like a cherished newborn. It's clear to me my time here is ending. Tuesday. 1 a.m. The 23rd of December. 2059. Home again. The tablet sensor shows heartbeats 160 and dropping. I'm lying on my back, funneling in great gulps of air. My thigh muscles ache like I've just run a marathon uphill. Can this be the same room I jumped from? Anxious my return trip's gone wrong, I reach behind in the darkness for the rustic bamboo-framed lamp. The one the thrift store owner gave me before the police took him away for selling illegal imports. I click the switch and soft light flows through its rice paper shade. My eyes focus first on the lime-colored ceiling. Yuck! I don't understand why Dadbot bothered to paint it such a revolting color. On the floor is a mess worthy of a teenager in residence. I make out 3 half-eaten energy bars, and a pile of smelly socks I ought to wash one day. These are reassuring signs I'm back. Wide awake now, I spot the Little Dipper constellation through my bedroom window and marvel at where in the world I was for the past 2 hours. Precious images resurface into working memory. I watch again as she finishes that stunning watercolor of ants on the march, and then begins a self-portrait. It's a future gift for me, I think she said. I sure hope so. Sleep is nowhere to be found. 2 a.m. 2. Twins. Binary. One can come to rely on the power of 2. I really, truly believe 3's a crowd, but keep that to myself these days, because I think the old boy's still in mourning. It's been 2 years since she left him for her Prince Harming, a 3-star general from New Connecticut. As far as I'm concerned, she can go forth and multiply with her bloody yank in his tank. Undressing's a struggle. Off comes 2 of everything, sweatpants, t-shirts, socks. It's the same crazy doubling every time I jump. How weird to think I might be a clone in time, down to my underwear. Beads of sweat form on my chest. Denied air conditioning. This north-facing room's a sauna in summer, but late December also gets way too warm. I ought to shower, but the noise will only alert Dadbot. 3 a.m. 3's a great time to write down what I can recall of my jump, before the experience dims forever. If I'm awake at this hour, I can't sleep again anyway. Too many taxis, trucks, and drunks pass by, like they are right outside my window. I get it. People like to party. Trucks got a truck. The world keeps on turning. I just wish they'd all do it a little more quietly. Another blast from the past streams inside my head. Hey, pipe down, pissheads. And clean up your disgusting vomit. Perhaps, with the benefit of hindsight, those words, delivered from the relative safety of this bedroom window, weren't my wisest choice. Even the inebriated can grok an insult if they hear it often enough. I might have gotten away with my little stunt too, but for the water bombing. A sudden cramp spasms my left calf and I grimace. Dehydration's a side effect of jumps too. When the pain subsides, I sense a second reel loading into working memory and prepare to observe the rerun. All I did was toss out the cleaning utensils to land in front of them, along with a reasonable volume of warmish water. And it wasn't scalding hot, as they later whined about in community court. Soaked and splattered by regurgitated goop, they were not happy campers. That's a crying shame because everyone knows a bucket of warm soapy water and a scrubbing brush are perfect for getting rid of muddled curry stains. I've carried out the same experiment from this window many times while lucid, and got similar results. Never trust a drunk, though. The damned fool and his floozy went and slipped on their stinking mess. They should have stopped swaying and staggering and stood still. What an absolute pair of nincompoops. 4 a.m. The robot cops appeared in their dinky little patrol chariot 44 minutes later, found the scene of the crime deserted, and soon left. The drunkard's girl had sloped away beforehand, swearing and sobbing into the darkness. The best decision she made all night, what with her skirt's derriere all smeared in yellowish-orange vomit. And as for her bloke? Well, didn't he make things 10 times worse for himself by hurling a brick at our front window? He missed and hit our Armenian neighbor's brand new Beamer. I tell you, best not brick a builder's Beamer. Off goes the ear-splitting car alarm and out comes one furious builder. That drunk never knew what hit him. Well, maybe he did, but he got no time to think things over or plead his case because next thing I see is this Armenian builder dragging him along the street by one leg and then heaving him into a 2-meter-tall skip. A short time later feeble groans give way to loud snores. The builder leaves the scene. The actor playing Dad returns to his slumber. He complains we should deport the builder. He's strange like that, my old man. 5 a.m. 5 and the world comes alive here. Slowly. I lean out of the window and take 5 deep breaths. Lights go on in bedrooms along our street. Toilets flush. Coughs and throat-clearing cackles puncture the early morning silence. Crows in the copse opposite make a humongous racket of their own. Visions of big black birds dive-bombing and shattering bathroom windows flit through my head. They leave stunned occupants caught with pants round their ankles. The image stream vanishes without warning. Oh. What's that? Just under my scalp, nerve endings tingle above my left ear. I turn about to find a connection request message flashing on my neural net tablet. The device was a mandatory gift from Bleak, so he could monitor me here. I've blocked it uploading any cerebral data from my implant. All it can do is download software patches and display audio-visual feeds for any incoming jumps. The request message flashes again. I bet it's her. I touch the dark screen and crack open another energy drink. Must be afternoon in her land of eternal warmth, my sad little joke, given the state of this planet. Our time streams meet and one of my kind comes into view. Hello, Nina. And today's word is tombstone? She sounds happy. We have this game. Whoever jumps first guesses the word of the day. We get a good hit rate too. Better than chance. But no luck today. Nope. It's matchstick. I pull a sad face. Her head tilts down and I watch cute feet, their toenails painted cherry blossom pink, moving around the tatami floor. Nothing clutters Nina's precious living space. Just 8 mats, she once told me, that's all I need for art and archery. Now comes the takedown. Hands on hips, her brown eyes fix on mine as if she's gonna leap clean through the screen. Matchstick houses built from tombstones. She's pleased with her effort and performs a deep bow. Good, I say. You still got time? Yes. Lots. It's go-go 1 here. Lost 11 and 12. Like before. And you? It's difficult without functional clock genes to keep a sense of time during jumps. And that's why her time references confused me at first. Now it's clearer. Go-go means after jumping and gozen means before. Well, they mean much more than that to Nina and I. For us, go-go comes right after 12 and 12 follows 11. So daily life's a go-go if our jumps survive that quirky pairing intact. Gozen 5 here, I say. I got 6 hours left. Did you paint today? My vision blurs and my ears pop. The tablet stream flickers on and off. Nina complains of nausea. I'm losing her. A dog barks. A car engine starts. I guess the builder's off early to work in his repaired Beamer. She mimics a zombie walk and presses her face so close I swear there's a whiff of natto in the air. No, silly, she says. I had to work in the fields. Meet you in the go-go. She winks. I start to reply but the stream stops and I stare at her frozen image until my eyes water. 6 a.m. 6 is when Grumpy gets up. He sleeps like a log in the back bedroom, but I can hear him now, humming out of tune in the toilet. Is he trying to drown out the sound of taking a leak? If he is, it's not working. Anyone awake within a 3-house radius will curse the sound of pee meeting porcelain. That's the trouble with these retro-terraced houses. Stars twinkle in secret cosmic code as the world moves from darkness into light. I'm not alone in witnessing the brand new day. Here beside me are 6 ants marching out of formation along the windowsill. Man, you guys just missed her. I place a few moldy energy bar crumbs in their path. They grip booty in their mandibles and carry it away to a secret base. Have a nice snack, Ant Army. And with that, I'm off to start my chores. 7 a.m. 7's a tricky time of the morning in this cramped kitchen. We're often like 2 hungover samurai ready to pounce on each other at the slightest mistake or misunderstanding. Today's quieter. He's hooked on the tablet's audio feed. I prepare breakfast. The news rehashes a babble of global economic anarchy and nature's unrelenting fury. Not a word passes between us as I busy myself with dicing the fruit, slicing his favorite red Leicester cheese, and brewing coffee. If he's got to face the dismal world of underwater commercial property insurance, best do it on a healthy breakfast. Going to viewing class today, son? He does not look up from that stupid business tablet they make him check almost every waking hour. I pretend not to hear and set a neat arrangement of pineapples, bananas, and strawberries on the table. I'll eat nothing until it's gone go-go 1 in the afternoon. It strikes me that despite the constant drip of gloom and doom we get on the so-called news wires, Hothouse Earth's got at least 1 point in its favor: all the fruit we can eat is grown right here in the People's Republic of Albion. And according to our state-supplied, wall-mounted boob tube, nature's bounty comes to us today from the scientific miracle of Zensun Corporation's geoengineering genius. I told you before, my name's Briann. That's Brian to the power of N. And no, I can't go to Bleak's pointless outpatient class. Didn't you read the psychologist's report? Back when 3 of us lived here, my reply would have stirred up a hornet's nest of trouble. She might have backhanded me across the face. But he doesn't take the bait today. This morning, Dadbot responds appropriately. Yeah, my sarcasm knows no bounds. Yes, Briann, I read it. He drops his fork with a clang on the plate and glances in my general direction before his eyes return to their digital opium feed. Then you'll know I can't go because the clinic diagnosed me with a very unusual sleep disorder. Or is it a syndrome? It's so rare they don't have an approved acronym for it yet. He gives me a disdainful look. A look that reminds me he thinks this clock-jumping malarkey is all a figment of my unhinged imagination. It's a look that spells trouble with a capital T. Oops! And here comes another patronizing lecture on why I must join Bleak's spy program, only he doesn't call it that, to earn a government license to apply for a decent job yada yada yada. I let him drone on. A flaming argument's the last thing I need at this hour. 8 minutes to 8, trills the neglected tablet in a tone far too chirpy for my liking. I'm saved by his watchful companion. That shaming lecture will have to wait because commuter taxis only trundle past our street in precise convoys at the top and bottom of the hour. He's running 4 minutes late and will have to sprint hard to catch his allotted vehicle at our closest designated boarding point about 400 meters away. Get to class, he says, squeezing on his smart shoes at the entrance. I nod but say nothing. He grabs his briefcase, umbrella, and tablet. And he's gone. There's no need for a coat in December. The weather bots reckon it might or might not rain, depending on when and where one is located within their probability matrix. What a shame all those gases we put into the air and the oceans can't behave themselves, not even for quantum-computed forecasts. The best they can manage today is sunshine and scattered showers. Same as it's ever been, only warmer, much, much warmer. 9 a.m. 9 and I'm exhausted. I check off my list of chores: dishes washed, table wiped, beds made, washing machine loaded. Man, a young person's work never ends. I flop down on our homemade sofa, whose presence is a long and torture story involving penny-pinching and hours of dadbot's piss-poor carpentry, and stumble through channels of sheeple edutainment on the wall screen. I throw my voice at it like I'm delirious with joy for their program tripe, a disgusting mix of pointless shopping specials, political indoctrination shows and, yes, even eco-tours with bonus social credit points. But wait, there's more. Asking for exciting sports gets me professional base kit. This turns out to be a bastardized monstrosity derived from what a celebrity AI claims is a perfect mix of baseball and cricket. I shouldn't complain much. They gave us an Agriford deal we could not refuse and sweetened it with a permanent military garrison. I've heard there are enormous gated enclaves of these rich ex-colonials less than an hour's drive from here. It's a shame no one can get through the paramilitary police cordons to see how this other half lives. At least there's a purpose to my random viewing madness. Our social credit score's been in the proverbial gutter because I never attend classes. Bleak doesn't like that one bit. So, I linger on the do it right advice channels and take 3 civic awareness surveys. I even turn on the control panel's audiovisual sniffer, and give the invisible code monkeys responsible for this intrusive monitoring a cheery wave. I also make sure a pile of school textbooks lie open on the coffee table. We poor folks get the older dead tree versions, and pretend to scribble a solution to an impossible calculus question. My answer involves self-copulating stick figures doing what comes naturally among a small legion of banned words in the paper's margin. 20 minutes later and I'm bored stupid. It's no wonder Isaac Newton turned to alchemy. I wonder if he'll acknowledge his bone-idle son's done something useful today when he checks our credit gain tonight. I doubt it. I intend to go shower, but another memory pulse tugs at me about something important I must have forgotten. Shit. The wall screen illuminates and requests further clarification. Damn thing's set to lurk in listening mode. Our big sister of a sniffer comes pre-enabled with a ridiculous timer of 1 hour, cheeky buggers. I reduce it to 15 minutes because those algorithms love to log dissent and snitch on anything suspect. 10 a.m. Decisions. Decisions. What should I do with this pre-jump hour? I'm already a nervous wreck. 10,000 needles of anguish and fear are busy combing through my thoughts for reasons to surrender and go rejoin Bleak's remote viewing school. And if I don't go? They'll section me Wednesday, swap out the monitoring implant for another that blocks my jump triggers, and medicate me into a helpless stupor. And then I'll never meet Nina again. There's only one thing left to do. I make it to the front door. There's not a bird or a cloud in the sky, and no one to stop me leaving. But I stand frozen with fear on the threshold. I just can't take the next step. It's too risky. I slump on the doorstep and cry. My tears drip on the concrete step and narrowly avoid splattering a solitary ant. The insect investigates the edges of the liquid stain and then scampers over to the door frame. Higher and higher it climbs. Shouldn't the nest be much closer to ground level? I crane my neck and watch it follow the fake brick road all the way up to a tiny circular opening underneath my windowsill. So that's where they're coming from. I stand up, take 3 steps across our small front path, open the latched gate, and find myself on the pavement. Sayonara, Ant Army. 10:49 a.m. If I cycle very fast, I might make the allotments, but then find myself stuck halfway between school and eternity when the jump ends. I look skyward for inspiration. The sun bathes me in waves of supportive light and warmth. The moon's faint crescent smiles down at my predicament. Oh, to hell with the stupid bike. I'm walking on sunshine now. And then I'm charging along the street, faster and faster, getting closer and closer to an enormous fractal hologram of Nina and I together, mouth to mouth, and flesh to flesh. The taste of miso's on her lips. Grains of sticky white rice pass like atoms between us. Nina? Wow. Where did you come from? It's not your time to jump. And I am so not your type. Shush, she whispers. 10:59 a.m. Behind me, a posse of robot cops gives chase. I dart through columns of traffic snarled on what locals call the magic roundabout. This consists of 5 smaller satellite roundabouts orbiting a central donut-shaped roundabout at least the width of a football field. Vehicles come to a precise and sudden stop as I weave between and around them. A few older models bump into each other. Horns blare. Occupants stare. Some open windows and swear. I've lost the robot cops for now. However, a pair of hawk-like drones hover above me, tracking their prey. Within the main donut-shaped roundabout, I spy a holographic comms tower twice as tall as my house. Every town has at least one of these monstrosities, built to entertain and brainwash the lemmings cocooned in their houses, their vehicles, their minds. Circumnavigating this tower looms a grim, unsmiling holographic face. A ticker feed of messages streams across the bottom. Wanted. Do not approach. Dangerous. Their letters flash red in unison, accompanied by Bleak's booming voice warning of how violent the escapee can be. I knew I couldn't trust that bastard. And the face is mine, distorted hideously. It's now or never. I force my way through the donut's prickly hedge, frantic for cover from stun darts the drones are now threatening to shoot at me. More flashing blue lights on the far side of the donut tell me the net is closing in. It's useless. I drop to my knees and scream obscenities at the state of this cursed world. Can anyone even hear me? The hiss and crackle of police radios drown out my anguished cries for help. A robotic voice orders me to lie face down on the parched grass, and put my hands behind my head. Eyes shut tight, I move to comply when, without warning, the air becomes crisp and still, as if a thunderstorm is imminent. Bleak's accusing voice becomes unintelligible, fading in and out, until a female one replaces it. Run. Jump. Briann. I open my eyes to the incredible sight of a larger-than-life Nina filling the holographic stage. Clad all in black, she aims her crossbow and shoots arrows one after the other, downing both drones and forcing the hapless robot cops to take cover. I hear their monotone requests for backup, more backup. Briann. Get up. Now. Nina leaps to the ground. I rise to my knees and vow one last effort. She reaches for my hand. Her grip so strong I know nothing can break it. A shimmering entrance to a cave appears before us, crackling with static. Bolts of blue lightning arc into the air. My hair stands on end. Deafening thunderclaps erase all other sounds. Following her lead, I take a giant leap of faith into this pitch-black hole of love or death. As long as we are together, I care not which it is. I'm tumbling, falling, bouncing off trees and rocks, scrambling to my feet, again and again. I've no sense of time passing, yet somehow every second of my life crystallizes into one unbroken, ever-expanding moment point. If this be my end or some new beginning, it's more than enough. Where am I? I'm breathless and flat on my back. There's that same burning pain in my thighs. I try to move, but the muscles are not having it. My eyes are open, but nothing's in focus. There's soft grass beneath me and the soothing sound of running water nearby. This is no bedroom in Albion, that's for sure. My vision improves. I'm seeing a different sky, a nighttime sky. Alongside me are the tattered remains of muddy t-shirts and sweatpants. Did I undress myself? I pat my heaving chest and stomach to check I'm not naked. A dark robe with a sash adorns my body. The material is light like cotton. I sit up. The sharp pain in my side is hard to ignore. Cicadas are crying in trees at the base of the hill. Satayama. Satayama. Can it be true? Am I really here? She's standing on a dirt track at the edge of a patchwork of rice fields, silhouetted against the light of the farmhouse. Her bow's in one hand, a flaming torch in the other. I make out a gleaming quiver of arrows strapped across her chest. She comes closer and helps me to my feet. We're nose to nose now. Tombstones. Matchsticks. Tears stream down our smiling faces. She touches my cheek, and then my ear. There's a pinprick of pain. I jerk my head away from her hand. Hey, what did you do? Briann want to jump again? In her open hand is a thumbnail-sized disc, lime green in the torch's light. She's waiting for me to choose. I pick up the object between forefinger and thumb and squeeze until it cracks and crumbles. She smiles, takes my hand, and we walk toward her farmhouse. Above us, in a sky filled with wonder, poor Laris and the little bear are nowhere to be found. The end. If you enjoyed Clocking Time, remember to like and share this video. Writer's notes. Reminder, the notes may contain spoilers. This short story started life in 2018 as the first story in my ongoing attempt to write 52 short stories. The first draft came in at 3,300 words. It has doubled in this revised version. Here are some notes I shared on a blog post at markmclawtoday.com about the story. Time and space are sliced and diced in this tale of two neurodivergent teenagers with a secret superpower. Clock jumpers, caught between life and a hard place. Will they ever be together again? The story's jerky flow is a reflection of Briann's neurodivergence and the chronotype malfunction that powers his reality shifts twice a day for 2 hours at a time. Big mainstream news stories while I wrote this story included rapid climate change and no-deal Brexit. I was also reading about digestion, including chyme in the stomach. My significant other and I escaped the Tokyo metro area for Japanese wine country, Yamanashi Prefecture, and that inspired the Satayama reference at the end of the story. Is Clocking Time a time travel romance? Let me know if you'd like to read a Satayama sequel or a novel-length work in this world. About the author. My name's Mark McLaw and I write science fiction and other things too. You can get a free sci-fi short story by visiting markmclawtoday.com and signing up for my free email newsletter. Thank you for taking an interest in my work.